This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi. Here now, Tony Bruschi.
If the incel world has a martyr, a messiah, and a mascot all wrapped up into one narcissistic package, its name is Elliot Rodger, the 22-year-old virgin with a BMW and a GoPro. Didn't just murder 6 people and injure 14 more at Isla Vista Park back in 2014. He authored his own mythology. He set the template for an entire violent ideology. And he filmed a farewell video so drenched in misogyny and self-pity, might as well have been titled The Incel Manifesto, live and unhinged. This is a story of how one privileged young man transformed his personal rejection into a cult legacy of murder, hatred, and internet infamy. This isn't just another mass shooting. This is where the incel movement found its twisted prophet. Let's dig in. On May 23rd of 2014, it's a sunny Friday night in Isla Vista, California, a college town pulsing with the end-of-week buzz. Students are out grabbing dinner, heading to parties, getting a drink. Meanwhile, Elliot Rodger is inside his black BMW, meticulously following a plan he's written about, fantasized about, and filmed himself describing. He calls it his day of retribution. Before the city even knew what hit it, Rodger launched into a calculated killing spree that mixed stabbings, shootings, and vehicular assault. First, he killed his 3 roommates, Chen Yang Hong, George Chen, and Wei-Hen Wong, by stabbing them to death in the apartment that they shared. Cold, up close and personal. Then he drove to the Alpha Pi sorority house, intending to massacre the women inside. The door was locked. He knocked. No answer. Foiled but undetermined, he shot 3 women standing nearby, killing Veronica Weiss and Kathleen Cooper, and wounding Bianca DeCock. He continued his rampage through Isla Vista, shooting passerbys, pedestrians, and a male student in a deli named Christopher Michaels Martinez. He used his BMW as a weapon too, deliberately striking pedestrians and cyclists. All in all, 6 were murdered, 14 were injured. The whole thing lasted less than 10 minutes. Rodger exchanged gunfire with police, chased his vehicle, and was later found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The entire rampage was premeditated, rehearsed, and grotesquely documented by Rodger himself in a series of chilling videos and a 137-page manifesto emailed to friends, family, and his therapist. Rodger didn't just want to kill. He wanted to explain it, glorify it, frame it. His manifesto, entitled My Twisted World, reads like a blend of a college admissions essay, Reddit rant, and Bond villain monologue. It's 137 pages of relentless self-justification where he paints himself as a victim of cosmic injustice, not just misunderstood, but wronged by every woman who ignored him, every man who succeeded where he failed. In the document, Rodger lays out a painfully detailed autobiography from childhood loneliness to teenage awkwardness to adult age. He recounts a life in which women never desired him, men never respected him, and happiness was always just out of reach. But rather than reflect on his own behavior or lack of social skills, he blames everyone else, particularly women. Rodger writes, quote, "All I ever wanted was to love women, and in turn, to be loved by them back." He continues, "Their behavior towards me has only earned my hatred. I am the true victim in all this. I am the good guy. It's not narcissistic or anything. That's not a confession. That's his declaration of war, basically. He explains that if he cannot have sex, love, or admiration, then no one should. His solution? A mass murder designed to punish those he believed were living the life he was denied. Hours before the murders, Rodger uploaded a YouTube video titled Elliot Rodger's Retribution. It's now one of the most chilling pre-attack videos on record. He's sitting in his car, dressed in designer sunglasses and sneering into the lens. Rodger monologues for nearly 7 minutes. He smiles as he describes how women have starved him of sex and fantasizes about punishing them. With the delivery of a wannabe movie villain, he vows to enter the hottest sorority house and slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up blonde slut inside. That's his words. His language is unfiltered, his tone smug. He calls himself the Supreme Gentleman, a phrase that would soon become shorthand on incel forums for those who believe they are owed sex because they're nice guys. Note to those nice guys that feel this way, you're not a nice guy. That's not being a nice guy. That's just not being a nice guy. No, that's not it. That is not it. In the years since the video, he has shared, dissected, and in incel circles been idolized. It's not a farewell message. It's a recruitment pitch. After the attack, Elliot Rodger became a legend, like I said, in incel communities. Not condemned, canonized. They call him ER, Saint Elliot, or the Supreme Gentleman. His initials became code. His image became meme material. His manifesto circulated like scripture. On forums out there and old 4chan threads, members praised Rodger as someone who had the guts to take revenge. They joke about going ER in shorthand of obviously for committing similar attacks. They remix his video into montages. His name becomes both dog whistle and rallying cry. He's not just remembered, he's revered. What makes this especially dangerous is how Rodger's worldview maps directly into incel ideology. The entitlement, the rage, the belief that sex is not just a want but a right, and that women who deny it are committing a moral offense. He screeds on race. He frequently raged at interracial couples. Status and beauty echo every dark fantasy that incel forums cultivate. He gave the movement a figurehead and a playbook. Elliot Rodger didn't hide his pain. He broadcasted. He posted dozens of YouTube videos in the years leading up to the murders as well. Monologues filled with resentment, despair, and barely veiled threats. He wrote blogs. He left comments on forums attacking women and praising serial killers. His family was alarmed. At one point, they contacted law enforcement, worried about the disturbing videos he was posting. Officers visited his apartment. They talked to him, but he was calm, polite, and articulate. No weapons in plain sight, no immediate threats, so they left. Just weeks later, he launched his attack. Rodger had also been in therapy since childhood, diagnosed with a pervasive developmental disorder linked on the autism spectrum. He struggled with social connection from an early age on, but somewhere along the line, that struggle morphed into self-pity and rage, helped along by years of online radicalization. He frequented a forum, a now defunct one, that's a board where users united in their hatred of women and mockery of pickup artists. It was toxic, even by 4chan standards. His manifesto drips with contradiction, self-loathing, and grandiosity. He calls himself inferior and superior in the same breath. He despises women for rejecting him, but elevates them as goddesses who hold the keys to his happiness. It's narcissism, weaponized by rejection. Nobody stopped him. Because what do you do when people act like that and talk like that? What can you do? The police were called. think by the time Elliot was at this stage, he was too far gone. This is where identifying this way of thinking in young men at an earlier stage and getting ahead of it would be helpful. In the days following the Isla Vista massacre, a hashtag swept across Twitter. Hashtag yes, all women. It was a response to the inevitable not all men defense that popped up in the wake of Rodger's misogynistic motives. Women around the world shared their own experiences of harassment, fear, and everyday sexism, stories that reflected the same entitlement and hostility that fueled Rodger's rage. The attack forced a national conversation about gendered violence, toxic masculinity, and the internet's role in fostering hate. It also prompted law enforcement to reconsider how seriously they should take online threats. Rodger wasn't a random lone wolf. He was the product of a system that ignored countless warning signs and a culture that too often treats male rage as a phase instead of a threat. Rodger didn't create Inceldom, but he defined it. His manifesto video, his murder spree, turned a loose collection of online malcontents into a self-aware hate movement. After Rodger, the incel ideology became more coherent and more dangerous. Future killers cited him. Forums used his initials as shorthand, and every time an incel-linked attack occurs, Elliot Rodger's name resurfaces as inspiration. His legacy is a cautionary tale, not just about violence, but about vindication. He was a lonely young man who surrounded himself with digital voices that said, "You're right. You're the victim. They deserve it." The echo chamber turned suicidal ideation into mass murder. Rodger's story forces us to ask a lot of tough questions. How many other young men are sitting in front of a screen right now, reading his words, watching his video, and seeing not a tragedy, but a template? The guy who called himself the Supreme Gentleman. History will remember him for what he truly was, a murderer who cloaked his misogyny in a manifesto and wanted the world to see his pain as righteousness. And unfortunately, a small, angry corner of the internet did exactly that. As we move forward in the series, we're going to examine copycats, those who cited Rodger as inspiration. We'll look at how his ideology infected others, how incel rhetoric continues to radicalize men online, and how law enforcement is trying and sometimes failing to keep up. Because Elliot Rodger may be gone, but the myth he created is still very much alive. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section on YouTube. If you're not there already, if you're listening to us on the podcast platforms, just search Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi, and you'll find us there. That's where you can let your voice be heard and comment on the stories that we cover for you right here. And be sure to hit subscribe wherever you're listening or watching so you don't miss part 3 in our series about the incel invasion. We'll see more examples of how this ideology is spreading, and it's spreading fast. My name's Tony Bruschi. Stay with us.
Want more on this case and others? Then press subscribe now and don't miss a moment of true crime coverage from Tony Bruschi and the Hidden Killers podcast.